Happy Friday night. Breanna, Reinhart, Nick Tabbert. It's another Sports OT online wrap. We are within 1 week now of finishing up our football season.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Weather has been outstanding.
Yeah.
It was like 75 tonight again.
Yeah. I saw some breath on the field, though, today. I know we were talking about that last week. We weren't sure, but it got a little chilly there at the end of the night. But what else do you expect at this time of year? So.
Yeah. One coach I was talking to earlier today just said, it's too warm. He wants cold weather.
Oh, goodness.
It's coming, don't worry. Lots to talk about tonight. Let's start with the Eau Claire schools, Eau Claire North. We've been talking in the last couple weeks. The path for North to make it is to win 2 of the last 3.
Yep.
Now they've lost 2 of the 3. So North went to Marshfield tonight, a game that both teams needed to win, honestly, if they're going to make the playoffs and be eligible. Interceptions, while our friends from the Wausau station were there, one from each side, and North unable to do anything with its turnover. That pass just off the mark, and Marshfield got the pick and turned it into 6. A lot of points tonight for Marshfield. They win 38-13. So North stuck on 2 conference wins. And even if they win next week at Wisconsin Rapids, I don't think it's going to be enough to get into the postseason this year for North.
Tough battle.
Yeah. Coach at the beginning of this season told us we want to take that next step and we want to turn into a playoff team and we want to be a contender, challenger in this conference. And they've shown moments.
Strides.
Yep, they've taken some strides, but it's just probably not going to be enough to get to the playoffs, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So one more game next week at Rapids for North to wrap it up, and then we'll wait and see. And who knows? Maybe they can get in. Eau Claire Memorial senior night tonight. Really enjoyed watching our buddy AJ. He has been a friend of the program for the last couple years. I mean, everybody on that team, coaches, players, they come up to him and give him a knuck or a high five.
Fives, yeah.
He was the honorary captain tonight. So his family is moving to Colorado, but AJ is leaving a legacy with that AJ Impact Award. His mom was telling me about it, and that was pretty cool. So yeah, it was fun to see AJ. Wausau West offense was just unstoppable. Abe's had a couple turnovers in the first half, but they just could not stop the Warriors tonight. 14 points in the first quarter, and I believe they were sitting at 35 at halftime. So, I mean, West just could not be stopped offensively. Abe's finally got on the board there. Simmons with a score, but kind of been the theme all season long. It's just a couple bright flashes with the offense and that up-tempo, but just way too many points allowed.
Yeah.
So Abe's give up 50-plus again tonight. So just the one win for Memorial. They get one more shot at it next week. They get DC Everest on Thursday night to wrap up the season. So hopefully, if Memorial, you can win next week and kind of shock DC Everest and get some momentum going for next year. But it's not going to work out, at least in terms of the postseason this year for the Apes. So let's move on to the Big Rivers Conference. So Menominee and Chippewa Falls are sitting at 3 wins in the conference. And so is Hudson. And you just look at that BRC, and it's so tight. It's so competitive that you're kind of looking to see, okay, where are they going to get this 4th win to guarantee they're in the playoffs? And it's getting tough. So let's start with Menominee at home against River Falls. And, you can't really look at the record and say, well, River Falls is a bad team. I mean, when you're playing Richmond and Hudson and Rice Lake, there's so many good teams that there's unfortunately a couple teams, right, with a bad record. So River Falls, I've only got them at 2 wins on the season, and one of them comes tonight. It's 3 wins now, including tonight. So they get their 2nd win. They come into Menominee tonight, win 29-19. And so if we look at this Big Rivers, you've got Menominee now at, I don't think this has been updated because we need to have 8 games played. But Menominee's at 3-3.
Yep.
Now they have to go to Chippewa Falls next week. The Cardinals are also 3-3 in the conference. So you've got winner gets in and loser is going to sweat it out. Now my gut tells me because this conference has been so good that a 3-win team's going to get in. So even if, whoever loses next week, my gut tells me they'll still get in the playoffs.
A better shot, yeah.
But you're guaranteed if you finish with an above 500 record in conference. So there's obviously a lot at stake next week between Menominee and Chippewa, and that's already a great rivalry with a lot of history. So
it'll be a fun one to watch.
That's going to be a really fun game next week. My suspicion is that'll be our spotlight game of the week, but we'll see what happens. So just looking at the big rivers, New Richmond's on top. Rice Lake, the one loss to New Richmond. Hudson is now in the playoffs. River Falls Superior probably not going to make the playoffs, but a really competitive BRC, just like we were told at the beginning of the season. It's been fun to watch there. Okay, let's go to the spotlight game. So, we have to start by making a correction. We use the WIAA website. We use wisports.net to collect our scores, and I don't know if somebody typed in the wrong number, but we thought that Whitehall beat Pepin Alma tonight, and that was not the case. Pepin Alma beat Whitehall. So there's actually a 3-way tie atop the Dairyland, not a 2-way tie. So you have Blair Taylor, CFC, and Pepin Alma are all at 5-1, and Aleva Strom is now 4-2, and I'll have you explain why the Cardinals are 4-2 and CFC is 5-1 tonight. So
well, Pirates definitely looked good out there tonight, I will say. Their defense just really stepping up. There wasn't a whole lot of throwing on either end of the ball tonight. This was probably the closest that the game was, 6-6 in the first quarter, but then here their run game was just powering through. The O-line really, really strong today for Pirates, and they just were unstoppable with their runs and worked out for them. Not so much in Aleva Strom's favor, but I talked to Coach afterwards, and he was just telling me that this team is playing their best ball right now, and that's exactly what you want at this time of season. So I also talked to one player on the team too, and their confidence is just really, really up there moving forward, and that's exactly what I think they're going to need in order to clinch that conference title. So I think things are looking pretty good for them right now.
So Aleva Strom goes to Pepin next week, and I'm just double checking CFC here. Sorry, I'm not very fast with my taps here, but CFC is going to play Independence Gilmanton at home, so the Pirates are going to be favored there. Pepin Alma's probably got the toughest Week 9 matchup with Aleva Strom, and Blair Taylor is going to play Melrose Mindoro. So CFC has a great shot, I think, the best shot to get to 6-1. Melrose Mindoro has a lot to play for. They are 2-4 in the conference. They get to 3, maybe they get into the playoffs. Just kind of depends on where they draw the lines between the divisions and how many playoff eligible teams there are. So the Mustangs are going to put up a fight. Independence Gilmanton's played some hard ball. They got their first win last week. So really interesting race here. I like CFC to finish at the top, and we'll see what happens here. Aleva Strom. They started out 4-0, and now they've had to play the toughest teams in the conference. But I would not be surprised if that's a really tight game next week between Pepin Alma and Aleva Strom. But because there's a lot of parity here, and there's just a lot of. I think it's pretty even between the teams. But Pepin Alma's been the defending champ the last 2 years in the conference, so. Certainly don't count them out for anything, right? But just a fun race. So we'll see. And we'll see who can build some momentum here going into the playoffs. Okay, let's go to the Dunn St. Croix. So Spring Valley and Boyceville have been the top teams ever since I moved here, it seems like. Those have been the two perennial powers, and we get another edition of a great rivalry tonight. Game was in Boyceville. Our photographer, Chris Hoyt, was able to grab a couple touchdowns, and just a thrilling finish. Came down to the last couple seconds, the final seconds, I guess. And Spring Valley wins at Boyceville 19-18.
Wow.
So huge win for the Cardinals, and two teams that are obviously going to the playoffs and have aspirations of making deep runs. Spring Valley's 8-0. Has not
That's
lost
impressive.
all year. Yep.
Yeah.
Has not lost. They've hardly given up any points. So yeah, I mean the Cardinals have to be just hyped tonight. You get a win at your rival's house. So Boyceville now 7-1. Waiting on a Glenwood City, Elmwood Plum City score. At the moment, Glenwood City sitting at 5-2, 3-2 in the conference. So if they win tonight against the Wolves, they would be playoff eligible. Turtle Lake right there at 3-3. So I mean, Dunsink Croy's been pretty solid this year. So yeah, we'll see how far those teams can go in the playoffs. So
A lot of tight battles.
yeah,
have to
yeah,
say.
a lot of, and we had some good like playoff rematches tonight. Want to mention the football bracket release show. This will be coming up next weekend, Saturday, October 19th. It's going to air at 10 a.m. right here on News 18. You can watch it online as well. So we are going to be revealing the field, who makes it and who plays who. And this will be live, and Travis Wilson from WisSports.net will be alongside Brad Hansen and Keegan Hewitt from our Wausau station. They're going to host this year, and Travis will kind of break down the brackets, and we did this last year. This will be our second year doing it. So you don't have to wait up until midnight or 1 a.m. anymore to see who makes it. We're going to make you wait until 10 a.m. the next day, but have it all nicely laid out, and we'll just kind of go through division by division and lay it out. So yeah, we have one more week to go here, and this is always a fun week to see, okay, if there's a conference champion left to decide, we've got that. If there's a team that's sitting at 3-3, and if they win, they're in the playoffs, and if they lose, then they're going to sweat it out. So it's always a really entertaining week. And then, of course, you've got some senior night. You have a lot of kids playing their last game ever in high school.
One.
Right, emotional night. So, yeah.
It's peak time for all the teams.
Next Friday is going to be a lot of fun. So, any final thoughts here?
No, I don't think so. We covered it all.
Okay. While you're on our website, if you're watching this, Kenny Bednarik back in Rice Lake. He's being honored this weekend. I put together a little story on him coming back to Rice Lake and having a pep rally. It was a lot of fun. We're also talking state golf preview, and we have some Blue Golds and Blue Devils football coming up on Saturday. If you want to get out and watch some college football, Blue Golds, it's homecoming weekend. Blue Devils play Whitewater, who's always one of the tough teams in the nation, top teams in the nation. So it'll be a fun Saturday. So for Breanna, I'm Nick, Sports OT Online Wrap. We'll see you next week.